Hey there, nation. Welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and we are back with our very last episode of A Deathly Desire. This was a series that was dedicated to the building, painting, and designing of our studio's 3,000 point Slaanesh Legion of Chaos army for Warhammer Fantasy Battle, and as you can see, it is now fully completed. All 3,000 points of this army is fully assembled. All 3,000 points are fully painted. And it's all ready to bring about chaos and destruction upon the battlefields of the old world. And as you can see, it looks absolutely fantastic. It just looks so awesome. I'm really happy with the way that this army came out. To be honest with you guys, when I was working on this project for my studio, for this 3,000 point Chaos Legion, I was kind of apprehensive about working on it. I didn't know what I was going to do for the design concept for this army. I was really kind of clueless about, how it was going to turn out. Not to mention the army unit choices in this army. It's just basically been assembled with whatever materials we just happen to have on hand for the miniatures at the most part. So if you're wondering, what was the real design concept behind all of this? Pretty much it was just getting the miniatures at the time that I could get them at the lowest price that I could get them at, and that's what pretty much determined how this army was going to be laid out for the most part. So that's the reason why that was the case. So as you can see here, most of this is from basically two major box sets of miniatures. That's where most of this comes from. The first one is from Battle Masters. Battle Masters box set is what makes it for most of these beastmen here, as well as for these Chaos Marauders. We talked about Battle Masters in quite some length over the years of this channel. And then the other major box set was the Wrath and Rapture box set that Games Workshop released a couple of years ago, which was just a box of Slaanesh demons with also Khorne demons, and that's where most of these guys came from. So for example, the Demonettes, as well as the Seekers, as well as the Fiends, as well as the Infernal Rapturous. Those came from there. The 5 Warhounds came from a spare leftover Warhounds that we had for my other Chaos armies. The Chariots, as you can see here, came from our original studio's 3,000 points Warriors of Chaos army. The Forsaken that we have here, these guys were just bought from secondhand at a local gaming store. That's where we got most of these guys at. Same thing with this Demon Prince. And of course, the last thing we had, of course, were these Hellstriders of Slaanesh, which these ones I purposely bought from the army as well, just because I thought we kind of need to have these guys. So this army was kind of cobbled together from primarily spare bits and bobs, is basically where it made up, but we made up most of this army. And so I was kind of apprehensive about painting it up. I didn't know what color scheme I wanted, wasn't really sure how it was going to look, and so I just kind of ran with it. The main focus that I got most of my inspiration from was this unit of Zangors that I originally had painted for Warhammer Age of Sigmar. Back when we used to do the Age of the Realm battle reports, that's where most of these beast miniatures were representing, were Zangors from that. Same thing with these Marauders. These guys were converted over to be Carrick Alkalites. So that's where the color scheme originally came from for this army. So from these two units, I pretty much based all the other color schemes from everybody else. The black and gold was used already in the Chariots ahead of time. They also had some purple in it as well. As you can see, most of the colors of this army pretty much comes from just a variety of colors. First of all, turquoise is an often used color for most of this army. Another color that's used quite a bit is purple. Same thing with gray, as well as pink. That's where most of the colors come from this army. So as you can see, it looks absolutely fantastic. I'm just really happy with the way that it turned out. So it took us about a month and a half worth of work in order to fully put this army together, as well as to paint it up. So it went by very, very quickly. The reason why we were able to get it done so much is because we've had plenty of time to work on our hobbies in order to make it happen. So luckily, with everything going on right now, as unfortunate as it has been in terms of affecting people in the economy, as well as in lives and health, it has given me some time to work on my stuff. So that's the nice part about it. Yeah, looks absolutely fantastic the way it came out. Really, really satisfied. So as you can see, you have seen most of the army already. You guys have seen other episodes on it. The last additions that we've actually added to this army are these two units here. We have our Slender Slaughterers, which are our unit of 3 Fiends. We're going to talk about those. Same thing with our Demon Prince of Slaanesh, which is also the very last unit as well. So we're going to talk about those two guys specifically and focus on them. Alright, so the very first unit we're going to talk about real quick are these guys. These are the Slender Slaughterers. It is a unit of 3 Fiends of Slaanesh. And as you can see, they look absolutely fantastic. The way that they came out. I'm really satisfied with the paint scheme on these guys. Pretty much how they turned out. And I can't wait to see exactly how these guys perform on the battlefield as well. Now, if you're wondering what these guys are, these are Fiends of Slaanesh. These are actually from the Wrath and Rapture box set of miniatures from Warhammer Age of Sigmar. And half of it was containing Demons of Khorne. The other half contained Demons of Slaanesh as well. And so these Fiends, what was kind of neat is that they actually had some brand new sculpts with the Fiends. They actually had updated their sculpts to make them look like this. And I have to admit, these are really nice sculpts. These are really like one of the most dynamic sculpts I've seen from Games Workshop in a long time. These Fiends look absolutely fantastic. For those of you guys who aren't aware, Fiends are supposed to be like these really weird reptilian, draconian, / humanoid looking demonic things. They're supposed to look really weird. You know, they give off this musk. They have like, you know, anteater snout. They have claws. You know, they run around on 4 legs and stuff. At the same time, they look kind of human as well. And whoever did the sculpt on these for Games Workshop did an excellent job of capturing that weird demonic look that all these miniatures actually have. So as you can see, we just kind of continue on with the same kind of color scheme of pink and purple for this unit. So you can see here we have a lot of pink on this the fabric for the miniatures, as well as some purple elements that we have for like the loincloths, as well as for the sheaths on their tails. And I decided to go with a bright pink color scheme just because, you know, there's that stereotype that a lot of people think that pink is a non-threatening color. And so I always thought it'd be kind of interesting that like one of the deadliest things in my army would be, you know, decked out in pink like this. So these things would be absolutely terrifying on the battlefield. So it's kind of funny, so that way my opponents, whenever I play this army, will be terrified of the big pink things that are coming after them. So it looks absolutely fantastic as well. I also have a cheap shot video that I did on these guys. I'm going to show you guys how to paint these guys up. How to paint them up really quickly as well as really easily. And at the same time save you guys a bunch of money in the process of doing so. So if you look really closely to these guys, they have a lot of these chains, like these silver chains spread throughout the miniature. I don't mind telling you, those were a major pain to paint all those chains up. I will admit that. That part was extremely difficult. Everything else though was relatively easy to paint. It's just that chain, those like little thin strips of silver, that one was a major pain to get that done. But as you can see here though, it was done and it looks really nice, and I'm really happy with the way that they turned out. So I'm super excited to see how these Slender Slaughterers, what they can do on the battlefield as well. So that's the second to last of the units that we added to this army. And the next one we're going to talk about next is the Demon Prince. Alright, and the very last miniature we're going to talk about for this army is my Demon Prince of Slaanesh. This character really doesn't have a name for right now, and the reason why he doesn't have a name is because when I originally made up this army list, it did not include a Demon Prince of Slaanesh. It just was, let me turn this miniature around real quick. It was just mainly the forces that you see on the table. Over here, the rest of the army was basically the 3,000 points. So this guy, I paid up to add this guy to the army because he's supposed to be the miniature I will use in case anybody managed to get, anointed in my army and managed to get the Eye of the God result to be Apotheosis, I think is what it's called, where they basically get promoted to the next level up where they become Demon Princes. So that's the reason why I have this miniature in my army, so in case something like that should happen for any of my characters in my army as well. So as you can see, it came out really nice. Really happy with the end result on this miniature. It just looks all kinds of awesome as well. Now, if you notice on the back of this miniature, originally there were supposed to be these spines, like these spikes that came off his back, look like like cemetery gate, kind of church railing type of looking things. Now, if you're wondering why does this miniature not have those, the reason why is because when I was middle of painting this guy up, what ended up happening is that I accidentally dropped him as I was painting him, and I dropped him the worst possible way. When I dropped him head first right onto my table surface, and it just snapped like 2 or 3 of those spines right off. Could not glue them back on because they're just super delicate. So I decided to take some clippers real quick and just trim it down to just make it look even as possible, because they're kind of spindly and they broke really easily. So that part was kind of sad. So if you're wondering what's up with his back, that's why they're not on there anymore. Also decided to go with kind of like a two-tone process for his armor. As you can see, the one half of his body, the armor is painted in magenta color, magenta pink, while the other half is painted in black and gold. And the reason why I did that is because this Demon Prince is very similar in the paint design as my Forsaken that I have up here as well. I just like the way these Forsaken came out with their bluish gray flesh and their magenta armor and purple armor and pink armor. So I decided to create that exact same look for their Demon Prince because it just looked really, really awesome. I just really liked the way it looked. So you can see I used a lot of Skyline by Folk Art to paint that up. Highlighted with some Granite Gray from Apple Barrel. I used Light Magenta from Apple Barrel and highlighted that with Cameo Pink. And then, of course, I used Pavement for the black and highlighted that with Anita's Gray Acrylic. And I'll talk about how I do it. I also did another cheap shot videos where I showed you guys how to paint up a Demon Prince of Slaanesh like this, and at the same time save a bunch of money as well. So you can see like half his armor is in black and magenta, and the other half is in black and gold. So it looks really, really cool as well. I also decided to go with like this huge battle axe weapon for the Demon Prince, just because you don't really see Slaanesh creatures with huge double-handed weaponry, and I thought that would be kind of a neat little feature to this guy. But yeah, I don't really have a name for this Demon Prince yet, but the nice thing about this army is that it's super flexible. I could add and take out units as I want to. Makes it a lot of options in this army. So that way we can make it as anything we need to fit whatever requirement we want. And playstyle. So it just looks absolutely fantastic. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is my army so far, the Shrieking Masquerade. Alright, so for the last bit of the video, what we're going to do is actually talk about the composition of the army. So this is at 3,000 points. This is currently how I'm running the Shrieking Masquerade so far. After going through the lists and doing the math, this is pretty much the current layout that I have for it. So let's go ahead and talk about it real quick. So first of all, we have the General. The General's name is Enkari, the Ravager of Ulthuan. It's a Doombull of Slaanesh. It's of course got steel claws, ram horns, helm, as well as gnarl hide, and this is the general for the army. Right next to him, of course, we have Tajak the Overseer, which is basically Wargore Slaanesh. It's also the unit's battle standard bearer, Mark of Slaanesh, armor the great weapon, heavy armor, as well as carrying the beast banner. So that way, this entire unit also gets +1 strength. It also has frenzy because of the blood greed rule from the Doom Bull as well. So that part is kind of nice as well. The unit itself, basically, we call that basically the Beast of Midian is what we call it. It is a nice, huge unit of Bestigors. It's got 25 Bestigors inside of it with Musician, Standard Bearer, Marks of Slaanesh, great weapons, as well as heavy armor. And of course, they got the standard discipline to give them +1 leadership, just to add a little bit more to that, so that way they can, have better leadership values. Right next to them over here on the right-hand side, this unit here is called the Flesh Carnival. It consists of 16 Forsaken of Slaanesh. They, of course, have Chaos Armor as well as their mutations. And leading this unit is another character named Telemakan Lyris, the Masked Prince. He is a Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Slaanesh, level 3 with Chaos Armor. He's got a Sword of Might for +1 strength, Talisman of Endurance for 5 at ward save, Allure of Slaanesh, that way he'll have to take leadership tests in order to hit him. He's also got a Demonic Mount as well to give him a little bit more durability in order to survive on that one. Next to them on the far left-hand side, this is the Empty Orchestra as unit 24 Demons of Slaanesh with Musician as well as Standard Bearer. Just a nice little unit all by itself. In the back, from my other core choice here, we have the Infernal Blades, unit of 19 Chaos Marauders of Slaanesh with Musician and Standard Bearer. They also have Flails and Marks of Slaanesh, and they're also led by Wolfric the Wanderer, who is the special character, so that way these guys can ambush your special rules. The Demon Prince is just in case I have anybody get Hypothesis, so that way it can move on. After that, we have the Depravity of Enoch, which is this unit right here, which is a unit of Chaos Charioteer with Mark of Slaanesh. They got 2 riders with halberds. They also got Chaos Armor, so we're very, very familiar with that. Right next to them is the Sign of Self, equipped exactly the same way. And over here on the right-hand side, we have to call the Denied One, which is another Gorebeast chariot with Mark of Slaanesh as well. And then right next to them is a unit of 5 Chaos Warhounds. They're called the Children of Ryan, is what they're called. Just 5 Chaos Warhounds. The warrior in the background there, he's just there for set dressing, just because I thought it just looked kind of cool to do it that way. It doesn't really actually play a role on the battlefield, just kind of looks neat, and I thought it just looked kind of awesome. Now after that, we have our cavalry units. So over here on the left-hand side, these are the Resplendent Stalkers, the unit of 5 Seekers of Slaanesh with, that's all they are. No Standard Bearer, no Musician, because I don't want to give my opponent extra points. Right next to them in the middle here, these are the Slender Slaughterers, which is a unit of 3 Fiends of Slaanesh, just kitted out. And then lastly, of course, we have the Nightkin, which is a unit of 5 Hellstrikers of Slaanesh with spears, and that's all they're equipped with as well. So that is the rundown on the current list of the 3,000 point Shrieking Masquerade Legion of Chaos army. And I have to admit, this is probably the largest Chaos Legion army that I actually have in our studio. It actually has the most fighters in it. And once everything goes back to normal again, I can't wait to see exactly how it performs on the battlefield. So that's going to do for this one, guys. We're all done with a Deathly Desire. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is invaluable to us as always. Also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blogger.com for all the latest, greatest hobby news related to our channel. That's going to do for this week, guys. We'll catch you guys in the next one. You guys stay classy, be safe, stay healthy, guys. Peace out.